All right, guys. So a while ago, like this is not really news. I can't remember if I made a video about this or not, but a while ago there was a data mine that suggests that there was going to be four more characters for Dragon Ball Fighters. Now, four more characters isn't really a lot, but considering this is season 3 and Dragon Ball Fighters already has a pretty big roster of characters when you combine all those season 1 and 2, it's really hard to complain about four more. Honestly, I think that they could have ended at season 2, and I'm honestly a little surprised and shocked that season 3 is even happening, but it kind of makes some sense. But at the same time, it does make you wonder what characters are going to be saved for a sequel. And but it seems to me like they're not even focused on a sequel at all right now. Like I'm sure one will have to come because FighterZ is way too successful, but it seems like for right now they're just going to put as many characters as they can and enjoy this game. But I think four more is what we're going to get, and so the characters I think we'll be getting will be kind of out there, but I don't think they're going to pull a Smash Ultimate where Dragon Ball Fighters 2 will include all previous fighters plus new ones. I just don't think they're going to do that. I think some will get cut and some will get some will get swapped out for others, and some pre-existing characters will probably change somewhat. I think that right now characters that are in the game, they get patched, they get buffed and nerfed, but I think we'll see some more significant changes with the pre-existing characters, and hopefully we'll see the addition of costumes finally. As far as what characters need to be reworked and everything like that, I'm not even going to get into it right now because I don't think, I mean that's kind of more for like top players and people who pay attention to top tiers and stuff like that. For right now, I think the game is mostly fine. It's really fun. Certain characters do annoy me more than others, and certain characters have DLC privileges. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Vegito and Gogeta are pretty freaking strong, and let's not forget Goku GT, one of the best characters in the game. But either way, that's just not what the point of this video is. This video is to talk about Ultra Instinct Goku being the first of the next wave of characters. Now, I thought they probably weren't going to do Ultra Instinct Goku because Ultra Instinct Goku just kind of seems like he'd be way too OP to be in a fighting game. However, the more I play like Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, which features Ultra Instinct Goku as a unit, and I have him on my team and I really like playing as him, it does make me kind of wish I could play him in other DBZ games. And when I have him in Dragon Ball Heroes, the arcade game that came to Switch eventually, I have him on that too, and I really like UI Goku. He's just like a really cool, different kind of transformation. But at the same time, there's this argument going on. There's too many Gokus, and to me, that's always just silly. Like it's kind of like the Fire Emblem argument in Smash, which I know a lot of people subscribe to that argument. I don't. I don't think that we should limit characters just because there's a bunch of variations of that character. I don't think we should limit, characters from the same franchises. I don't think that. I think that if the character has potential and it's good and it's worth putting in, then they should probably get put in. If that character is better than other choices, then they should probably get put in. So I'm completely fine with UI Goku. I'm just only afraid that he might be a little too OP, and if he's not really really good, if he's not like super strong, he's not exactly going to be a canon character. I think 17 gets away with it because 17 should be like one of the best characters. When you watch the Tournament of Power arc in Dragon Ball Super, 17 kills and he's awesome. And it's that version of 17 that's a playable character. It's not really Android 17 based off of Dragon Ball Z. It's just Android 17 based off Dragon Ball Super. And it's so awesome that he's in the game, but most people even forget he's in the game. But Dragon Ball FighterZ is a different kind of fighting game. Whereas with the Budokai games or the Tenkaichi games or even whatever the Xenoverse games, right? Those games you can kind of just play the characters you like. You just pick your favorite character and play, and you'll probably be fine because they don't play that different from each other. But in fighters, it matters. It matters who you pick. Their playstyle is going to change who you pick. For the longest time, Bardock was on my team because for me, Bardock was like completely necessary on my team. And it's like, I don't know, I do like Bardock, but it's not like he's my favorite DBZ character or anything. I like the character, but yeah, not my super favorite. If I had to pick like my favorite characters, it'd be like Vegeta, Gohan, and Trunks or something like that. And I know those are generic choices, but I also really like Piccolo and and Goku in general is just really cool. And yeah, I mean, I'd probably be going like down that route. But also, it's when the game first came out, I was playing a lot of Krillin because I really like Krillin. And, having Krillin on my team was a lot of fun. So I would use like Goku and Krillin together, and I like that. That was a lot of fun for me. At one point, I was like Goku, Krillin, and Gohan was my team. But it's not my team anymore, you know. I don't use any of those three anymore, except for Goku sometimes. Goku's still pretty good. But, you know, that's kind of... In Dragon Ball FighterZ, though, you don't really get to play your favorite characters from the show. You know, you play the characters you do your best with, which is a good thing because it makes people play as the villains more often. It's why Cell gets a lot of screen time. It's why we get to see Kid Buu in action. Because I don't think people think Kid Buu is like their favorite villain. I don't think anyone ever thinks that. Though I will say, seeing Goku Black in action is pretty nice whenever we get to see Goku Black. But yeah, at the end of the day, you don't really get to pick your favorite characters in fighters. You pick the characters that play well. So hopefully, you know, that being said, that's why Ender 17 can kind of get away with playing the way he does. Because he's not really a bad character. He just plays so unconventionally that it's not really worth the time and effort to put your effort into him. Versus, you know, other characters like Gogeta, who just works really well and you can just pick him up super easily. But when it comes to UI Goku, he's probably going to be somewhat technical. You would think he's got to be somewhat comparable to Hit, but all the Gokus kind of have similar things about them. So I'm sure he'll have some things similar to Hit and something similar to all the Gokus as well. But what I'm hoping for is that he fights in his sign form at most points, and his mastered form is only part of his level 3. And I know some people are like, meh, but the reason why I think they should do that is just because, like, first of all, when he fights Jiren, he only turns mastered for like part of the fight, and then after he uses it, it like completely shuts down his body, and then he can't use his body basically at all. And whenever he can move again, he's like stuck in his base form. He can barely muster up enough energy to turn Super Saiyan. Now the thing is, we haven't seen Ultra Instinct since that point in time, which is why I think that maybe if they do a FighterZ 2, we could include a better version of Ultra Instinct that's more based off of a later season or later arc or a different movie. Depends whatever Super wants to do, because we don't even know if Super's coming back. We just know there's going to be like another movie. So I'm pretty sure Super's coming back. Okay, but yeah, Ultra Instinct could change as Dragon Ball Super's lifespan goes on. But this game kind of represents everything about like where we are right now in the Dragon Ball Super timeline, where it goes all the way to Super Broly. Which is really why I think that if there's gonna be 4 more characters, I mean, come on, Kefla is the one that we've all been talking about. Kefla is the one we've all been saying. One of them's got to be Kefla. Now, Kefla could count as a villain, but I do think they might put in just like another villain that's more, you know, evil, more villainous than Kefla. But who knows what we'll get? I think we'll get one character like Kefla from Super and one character from like a different arc of like classic DBZ or maybe even Dragon Ball. As far as like, because you got to remember, they can actually do Dragon Ball villains, but it has to be like Piccolo, because King Piccolo can fly. So they could do King Piccolo, but I don't think they will. But either way, they could do them. They could do a lot of stuff. But as far as like what villain they could do, there's so many to choose from, and if I'm saying one of the villains has to be Kefla, then I really don't know who the other one will be. I feel like for the longest time we've all been saying Master Roshi, but maybe they'll finally throw us a bone on that, but I feel like they're not going to throw us 2 bones at once. I've been saying for a long time Future Gohan needs to be in the game, and the reason why, Future Gohan, it's kind of like the Bardock effect. You know, Bardock wasn't really in the games. No one really cared about Bardock until Budokai 3 happened, and the reception for that went so well that they started putting Bardock in everything. And Bardock's even got a Xeno version. There's like Time Patrol Bardock, you know. So, and that's in Dragon Ball Heroes. So like, when Bardock can get that level, then I don't know why they can't do that level for something like Future Gohan. He's got prominent units in both Dokkan Battle and Dragon Ball Legends. He's got lots of love. He's even in Xenoverse 2, you know, as like one of the main, like that's like a main story beat in Xenoverse 2 is Future Gohan. It's like, again, once they put Future Gohan in like Budokai Tenkaichi 2 or 3 or something, we start seeing Future Gohan more and more and more. And I think it started with like Tenkaichi, but he's in like Raging Blast 2. He's in Shin Budokai 2 on the PSP. Like, and that was one of the first times I played as Future Gohan in a game and loved it. Like Future Gohan just appears in games, and he's getting more and more prominent. He just got a new unit in Dokkan and on Global, but when that unit came out in JP, that was a big deal because he's a very, very strong character. And I mean, yeah, Future Gohan is just a big deal. So I feel like Future Gohan should be one of the next characters, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. You know, I don't want to say yay or nay. What I really want to know is if Ultra Instinct Goku. All they showed was a picture of him in his like mastered form, but like I said, I don't think he'll fight the entire time in his mastered form. But what's he gonna wear? Is he just gonna be like shirtless the whole time? It's gonna be like a shirtless, beat up, battle beaten Goku. Like that's kind of weird for fighters, and that's why like it's part of the reason why I always thought UI Goku wasn't really a good fit for fighters. But maybe they'll do some crazy mechanic where, you know, you can only use them part of the fight or something like that. Like maybe he'll be super, super strong, but you can only use them for part of the fight, you know, because it's a tag-based game. Bro, I don't know. I don't know. So, it is very interesting that they're going in that direction. Again, I don't really know what villains they'll put in, because they already put in Jiren, which is their thing. They put in Jiren already, and you would think it'd be UI Goku and Jiren, but they chose not to go that route. So I think that they're gonna do 2 characters from the Tournament of Power arc. One will be Kefla, and one will be UI Goku. And I think the next 2 characters will be just random DBZ characters, sort of like how they do sometimes, where they just kind of randomly say GT Goku and Janemba, or Jiren and Videl, or Android 17 and Cooler. Like they don't always mix, you know. So I think that they'll probably do Kefla as one of the villains, and then I have no idea. The other 2 are going to be way unlikely. Like I said, I really don't think they're going to... Part of me thinks they might throw us a bone on Master Roshi, because we've all been saying Master Roshi for forever. Master Roshi makes so much more sense to be DLC than be playable in the game. However, I could see him being playable in possibly a Fighter sequel. So, I mean, but I don't know. I think Future Gohan makes more sense as DLC than as a playable character. So they might save him as DLC for a second game. However, I just think that I feel like they're not waiting. I feel like they don't care too much about the second game right now. And if they do a second game, there's no clue or sign at all that it'll have a base roster that's actually larger than the current roster of fighters. It might be larger than FighterZ Vanilla, but I don't think it'll be larger than Fighters with Season 1, 2, and 3 all added in. So, I mean, we don't know how FighterZ 2 is going to be like. FighterZ 2 could be completely, radically different as far as like the menu system and the way they do characters. And it might even be a 2-on-2 game instead of a 3-on-3 game, though I really don't think they'll do that. I think it'll be 3-on-3 still. I think it'll be more like just tweaks and changes to some gameplay things, but they might change how the way sparking works. They might change the way the Dragon Balls work. I mean, there's a few different things they could do to change Dragon Ball FighterZ. So, I mean, and of course, please give us costumes, please. And more stages. There's so many iconic locations. Now that I'm playing Kakarot, it's even more apparent. But I mean, I've even thought for a long time, there's a bunch of potential stages for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I don't know why they have like mountain area, island area, world tournament stage, land of Kais, and then like there's all these other stages that are missing. And I thought maybe stages would come in the form of DLC as well, because then it would be like, oh, now you can have a Janemba stage and all that stuff. So, I mean, hopefully we'll get a Janemba stage, like a hell with all those giant beans everywhere. Or maybe we could get a stage based off of Super Brawly finally, or Tournament of Power stage. You know, and I mean, again, just playing your Dragon Ball Kakarot, there's all these locations that could easily be a stage. But I mean, there's also like King Kai's planet could have been a stage. Like, you know, there's crazy ideas. Because when you think about it, you might think that's stupid. But when you think about it, like in the anime, the Ginyu Force fought like Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu there. But beyond the anime, you know, Beerus fought Goku there. So I'm just saying. And not only that, but there's the Tournament of Power. But then there was also the tournament between Universe 6 and 7. I don't think that should get a stage, but I'm just saying, like, these are things that exist. I think Dragon Ball Legends has a shit ton of stages, and it's like, okay, why does this game have so many stages and FighterZ has like barely any? Like, let's get some stages in for Dragon Ball FighterZ 2. And also, I do have to wonder if they'll do a new kind of system in the game where maybe instead of having so many versions of Goku and Vegeta, maybe there'll be some sort of variation system similar to like Mortal Kombat or something, where certain characters have different variation forms. And if they did that, then what that could mean would be like instead of picking between base Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue Goku and now UI Goku, there could be like 3 versions of Goku that all fight relatively the same, but their supers and stuff like that change and flip and flop depending on which variation you choose. Or they could do something like, and that could work for other characters as well. There could be excuses to put in more versions for each characters. You could then put in a version of Trunks from Dragon Ball Super, or use Super Saiyan Trunks. Either version of Trunks. That could fix the problem with the fact that Broly's supers are kind of weird in Super Broly, and you can make it so his final form version of Broly basically plays identically to Legendary Super Saiyan Broly in Dragon Ball FighterZ 1. That way you don't need 2 different Brolys. And then you can make his base form basically fight like how he fights now in Dragon Ball FighterZ. You could do that with Gogeta and Vegito as well, which is nice because people want Super Saiyan Vegito and Super Saiyan Gogeta, but like they can't, they don't want to waste an entire DLC spot on that. Stuff like that. And it also could lead to some more other interesting variations that people didn't think they wanted. Like it could lead to more versions of Cell, like maybe a first form Cell that has a lot of moves about sucking people's energy. Maybe that could lead to more versions of Frieza, like maybe he has his golden form at all times at one of his other variations, and maybe he has like a buff version at all times, one of his variations, or maybe they could put Mecha Frieza in, and then or if he doesn't have to go Super Saiyan 3, so if he doesn't have to go Gold Frieza, then if he doesn't go Gold Frieza in his moveset, then maybe Mecha Frieza could be one of his costumes, stuff like that. There's lots of things they could do for fighters, lots of ideas. Though, do I particularly want a variation system? No, I kind of was fine with fighters being just, one form for each character. But we've gotten to the point now where there's so many different versions of Goku, And I mean, it's like, first of all, people didn't even really want GT Goku. They wanted Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Kid Goku. They got kind of both in one, but because of that, they're not going to get to really play as Super Saiyan 4 Goku at all times. Though I think people are mostly fine with it because GT Goku is such a cool and fun, unique character. At least they get to see Super Saiyan 4 in fighters. But I think people would, I'm just saying, if there was variations of the characters, they could fight mostly the same and have different supers, but with maybe a few other different moves. But really, honestly, my best examples of this are literally the way they did Super Saiyan Goku and Super Saiyan Blue Goku and normal Goku. Like, I think those are already basically perfect the way they are, and they could just slap those all into one character slot, and then you just pick right there on the character menu, and then they can do that for a few other characters. And then that way, it's not really considered, like, oh, there's a bunch of versions of Trunks, or oh, there's a bunch of versions of Goku. Instead, it's like, no. There's 3 Gokus, 3 Vegetas. Well, maybe 4 Gokus, depending on how UI Goku plays. And then they could do the same thing for Trunks and Gohan and other characters. And that way they're all sharing the same character slot. And that could encourage them to do it for more other characters, which could really fill up the fighters' character roster. And then at the same time, they could start including a few brand spanking new characters, as well as cutting down on some of these older characters, and then the DLC can just not really focus too much on characters with variation forms, or every so often there would be a special character who did. Like, I think Broly would be a good example of that, but I don't think, it's hard to think of it, if they did a second game with that much DLC, what would that game look like? Because so many characters from Dragon Ball Z are already in the game now, so, which again makes me think, like, if they make a sequel, that's when we'll see Raditz and Zarbon and all that stuff. And we might see a story mode that's more traditional for DBZ, and that would be cool. Like, you'd have to use multiple characters to fight one character, but they have like way more HP than you. So you get Goku and Piccolo and you have to fight Raditz, but Raditz has like way more HP. He has like as much HP as like 3 characters, so you have to really try to beat him. Or then maybe you fight like Nappa, and you get to use Kid Gohan, Krillin, and Piccolo. But Nappa again, he has like a bunch of HP. There's a lot of things they could do with FighterZ if they add in a bunch more characters. They could actually recreate the story of DBZ and Super in FighterZ. And some people saying, "Ugh, we've had the story of DBZ recreated in like literally every Dragon Ball Z game." Yeah, but we haven't had the story of Super recreated, and plus it's Dragon Ball FighterZ. And with the whole 3-person tag out system, it creates a very interesting way to fight really hard boss style, like raid style enemies. And also, this could let you play like 2-player co-op against the AI in the story mode. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's ideas out there that are really, really cool that we could see for Dragon Ball FighterZ. That's the way I would do it personally. I think that would be so much fun. But I kind of guess I'm getting kind of way off topic here about talking about UI Goku, but to me, again, I've said this many times about Dragon Ball FighterZ. I'm more excited about a sequel than I am about more DLC. I think the game. I think I'm done playing this game. I've played it for like 2 years now, and it's really fun. But I don't check it every day. I don't get on and play multiplayer every day. I play it here and there with my little brother, or sometimes I go online. But whatever, I'll get back on to play UI Goku for sure, especially if Kefla's also added in. But we'll see who the next 3 characters are after UI Goku. But I'm gonna end this video here. Again, I'd rather just see them make a sequel, and I understand why we're not getting a sequel this year, because Kakarot is coming out. Kakarot's already out, and because Kakarot came out this year, that means we're not getting a Dragon Ball Z game for the rest of the year, which means next year we'll possibly see FighterZ 2. It could make some sense because Grand Blue is coming out this year, and then the new Guilty Gear comes out later this year. So it might be time for Arc System to work on their next game, and I think they have different teams anyway, because they keep making DLC for FighterZ in all their other fighting games. So we'll see what we get. So all right, I'm gonna wrap this one up here, and I'll see you guys on the next one.